Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. I'm Aisha Rosalie. Please, guys, don't forget to keep sharing Palestinian content, keep pushing the word out there. And if you have the means to donate to my Muslim orphan fundraiser. Gaza is one of the places that we're donating to as well. We're raising for Muslim orphans all over the world. Links in the comments. This video is about something that UK has done in Gaza, and it is absolutely shocking. This video is titled, "What UK did in Gaza is shocking and no one's allowed to talk about it." So I haven't actually watched this video yet, so I hope it's good. Otherwise, I'm going to be recording a very boring video. But I mean, it's had like nearly 500,000 views in only a couple of weeks. So in the comments, people are going crazy for it. So let's have a look at this video. Let's see what's going on. I am a British person. I'm not a born Muslim, a convert to Islam. So I'm fully British. My family are fully British, all the way back for centuries and centuries and centuries. We're all British. And then there's me converting to Islam. And I have betrayed my forefathers, according to people from the Britain First group, who are a racist organisation here in the UK, who like to go on my videos and troll me a lot. So let's see what it is that UK have done. And to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me because, this whole thing is kind of caused by UK in the first place. So let's watch the video and find out.
During this election campaign, our mainstream politicians will be discussing a whole host of issues. But there's one issue they will not touch, and that is the British military role in Gaza. And you'd be forgiven for not knowing what that involvement is because the mainstream media has not covered it at all. At Declassified, we've been covering for 6 months what this British military involvement in Gaza is, and it's extensive. 200 spy flights have been sent by the UK military over Gaza since December. And these are flights that are in the air for 6 hours collecting intelligence. It includes a flight which was in the air when Israel assassinated 3 British aid workers.
Survivors from the strike on the first vehicle tried to take cover in the second one, which was hit next. Then the wounded from there tried to get to the third car. The vehicles were targeted 3 times in succession until everyone was killed.
So you have the insane situation where the Israelis have targeted and blown up 3 British aid workers, yet the UK is supplying them with intelligence, including from that day, but we're not allowed to know what intelligence is being shared with the Israeli authorities. On top of that, we've sent 60 huge military transport vehicles to Israel since the Gaza bombing began. These are C-17s and A-400s, huge vehicles which can carry Chinook helicopters, they can carry tanks, and they can carry up to 150 personnel. Why have we sent 60 to Israel? Again, the British government refuses to give a full account of what has been on those flights. On top of that, we've been training Israeli soldiers in Britain while the genocide has been ongoing. The British government was also refusing to say how many Israeli military planes were visiting Britain. I published an article on Declassified UK with evidence that Israeli military planes had landed at 4 different locations within Britain. The British government then reversed course and said, okay, we will tell you now. And they said that 9 military planes had landed in Britain since Gaza bombing began, but they refused to say what was on them. Nearly all of the logistical British support for Israel's genocide in Gaza has been done through RAF Akrotiri. This is a British base you probably didn't know existed on Cyprus since independence in 1960. And it's a vast, sprawling airbase. I've been there. At Declassified, I revealed for the first time how many US troops were permanently stationed at RAF Akrotiri. It's 129. The Americans and the British had kept that secret for 50 years. And now the UK government says it won't tell us if the US is using that British base on Cyprus to transfer weapons to Israel. Haaretz, the main liberal newspaper in Israel, called RAF Akrotiri the main logistical hub for supplying Israel for its genocide in Gaza. We are complicit materially in what is happening in Gaza, but the mainstream media is also complicit in what is happening because it won't report it. What is British Special Forces' role in Gaza? On October 22nd, the Sun newspaper reported that the SAS had deployed to Cyprus for quote-unquote Gaza operations related to hostage rescue. The following day, a D notice was sent out by the UK's censorship body telling all editors not to publish any more information about UK Special Forces and their role in Gaza. That D notice had an impact. We've not heard one more bit of information about the Special Forces role in Gaza. So every single editor, every single journalist which has information about the Special Forces role in Gaza is complicit in the genocide, because the D notice is not binding. It's a voluntary system. So the only reason to abide by it is if you're in the service of the UK military, not in the service of journalism and truth. It is virtually impossible to get any information about Special Forces. And that's not because they want to defend British security. It's because they want to defend their security from you. They are operating all over the world, including in recent years in Yemen, Syria, Libya, Somalia, without any democratic oversight or without any knowledge of the British public. In the case of Gaza, it becomes extremely important because there are live war crimes and genocide investigations into Israel's operation in Gaza.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes: starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder.
The fact that British Special Forces may have been involved is extremely worrying, and we need to know the truth. During this election campaign, Labour and Tory will try to present themselves as two different parties with two different visions for the country, but it's a lie. On domestic policies, there's virtually no difference. And on foreign policy, they are in lockstep completely. Everything I've told you about the British role in Gaza has been done by a Tory government, but every single part of it has been backed by the Labour Party. They are in lockstep when it comes to supporting the secret state and making sure that it has no accountability. All these operations that the British government are doing to support the genocide in Gaza are done with our money. It's taxpayers' money. But during this general election, both Sunak and Starmer will be talking about making tough choices.
I had to take that tough decision.
If we take the tough decisions.
Tough choices, it's not a soundbite. It's the day-to-day reality we will face if we win power.
But the war state never has to face those tough choices. When it comes to war, money is never a concern. Both Sunak and Starmer, Tory and Labour, have committed 75 billion extra funds to the military by 2030. Yet neither of them are promising enough money for the NHS, for the schools for your kids. That's because the political system is controlled by the military-industrial complex. The war in Gaza has shown that we have a superficial democracy. We have some democratic elements, but there's whole swathes of the state that we're not allowed to know about, and we're not allowed to know what they do. We're not allowed to know what our role in Gaza is. We're not allowed to know what our special forces are doing. We're not allowed to know if the US are using their bases in Britain to transport weapons to Israel. But we should know, and we must know, because it's being done in our name, with our money. And 70% of British people want a ceasefire now. So we need real democracy, and we need a political system that is responsive to the will of the people. And we need a military which does not operate in the shadows and contribute to some of the worst crimes in the world.
So, as somebody who's British, what do I have to say? What do I have to say? I think I'll start with talking about how when there was a rescue mission that happened recently where some Israeli hostages were rescued by the IDF. In some of the pictures of the rescue, we actually saw that there were also American soldiers there as well, which I'm not American. I mean, it makes me very sad to think that America has that much involvement, but I'm not American. But to know that Britain also could have been there too, British forces, I think there's just something so sickening about your own country participating in this, because I don't know what it's like being brought up in your country. I mean, honestly, like even some Muslim countries have ties with Israel as well, not all of them. But even if you're in a Muslim country, you could be facing the same kind of pain that I'm going through right now. Like all those history lessons that talk about how amazing UK are and how we like saved people in the war and how our army is so moral, and we have statues of our army and we have remembrance days for the people that fought in our army, that sacrificed their lives for our country. The nationalism and this kind of mindset. UK were a colonial power, but we we went in and we cleared out the savages and we gave them a better life, and all these horrible things that we're taught at school, that we think, that we genuinely believe that because we're British, we are the best people in the world, that we have the best passport. If we go to a country and we show a British passport, we're amazing. We are English speakers. You know, English is the most powerful language in the world. Like all these things that we're taught. And then as you get older, you realize that you've been lied to. That those soldiers that went out to Iraq killed a lot of innocent people, and they actually had no reason to be there. We are responsible for a lot of conflict in the world. The things we did in India, for example, Pakistan, that we are on the side of Israel. Present time now, talking about, we are on the side of Israel, and our government is on the side of Israel, and Rishi Sunak comes out and speaks for Israel, and Suella Braverman, who, oh my god, just, I'm not going to sin by saying anything horrible, but it's just someone that I really don't like. And the things that she says about Muslims and refugees and her stance for Israel, how can anybody be that desensitized? They are actual monsters. And even Keir Starmer in that same category. And how have we got to this point? And it's not just that, it's everything. Everything about my country for so long that I thought made us amazing. I've realized in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I mean, especially since I become Muslim and I started integrating with different communities and getting different perspectives and learning about different things and learning about history, my country is not this amazing place that I've thought it was. I've been lied to constantly about so many different things, from what our military do, from the food that's on the shelves, you know, the healthiness of the food and the toxins that we're given, the toxins in so many places, from our water bottles to the food to the air. Anyway, it's a different subject. But even the schooling system, which I'm not putting Khadija into, inshallah, 100%. Everything about this country is just so messed up. And I think if we are involved in killing the children in Gaza, the public deserve to know. 100% the public deserve to know. I mean, I used to bank with Barclays. When I found out about how much Barclays invest into Israeli weaponry, I completely closed down my account, drew out all my money, closed down my account. As soon as I find out anything about any attachment to any organization that supports Israel, I completely just get rid of it. And I know you guys do the same as well, so you'll feel me on this. But what about taxes? You can't just stop paying taxes. There's just this evil force that is just so evil, and something that I just can't relate to or understand at all. And that's the people that stand up and they say they support, actually they want children in Gaza to die. They support the killing of innocent children, that what Israel is doing is right because they're protecting their country by killing children. I just can't relate to it. I just can't relate to any of it, and it makes me so sick. It makes me so sick. And I would say I wish I was living in a Muslim country, but you know what? Some of those Muslim countries, guys, I'm sorry if you're in one of them, they're not any better. Some of them support Palestine, but some of them support Israel. They're not just neutral, they support Israel. I've seen some crazy things about some Muslim countries about what the governments do. All I know is that we need to stick together. We need to stick together as much as possible, because this evil force is just eating up so much of this world that we just need to stick together as much as possible and keep speaking out for the horrors of what's going on to the innocents in Palestine, in Gaza. We need to stay strong, inshallah. And Allahu Alam, Allah knows how this will end, but somebody needs to do something. Thank you guys for watching. Assalamu alaikum.